Hello everybody, ciao a tutti and welcome to Art with Ms.B. Today I'm particularly happy and grateful to have some time to spend together in this beautiful, relaxing and centering activity that I'm about to propose you. There are some days that might be a little harder and worse than other, right? Life, it's a little roller coaster. I want to say it's not always everything beautiful and positive. Sometimes we kind of struggle, and this is exactly what is happening to me right now. Therefore, because I'm a believer of the benefit of art and art practices, here I am sitting down with you and just spending some time in doing an art practice and exercise that will help me to reset, calm down, and just feel that embracement and the hope that I truly need. For this practice, you need your art journal or a piece of mixed media paper, a regular tip black Sharpie, a fine tip black Sharpie. I'm gonna use many tints and tones of green from my 121 box of Shuttle art markers. If you have another brand of alcohol markers, you feel free to use those. If you have just regular markers and maybe you don't have so many greens available, remember that you will find a light green, a dark green. Then you can also mix and overlap these two, obtaining a medium green. And then if you have a light gray, you can mix the light green and the dark green with the gray. So by two colors, you can have at least 5 different tones. I'm using green because definitely is a very peaceful and inspiring colors, and it brings somehow sort of a hope and openness. So it's exactly what I want to benefit myself with, and hopefully you will benefit from these two. So I'm gonna switch the camera and we can start. I will talk a little bit along the practice, and then I will have some time to quiet and silence so we can all center and focus on posture and breathing. Remember subscribing to my channel. Let me know how it goes in the comment. Let me know if you have any question in the comment, and I hope that this practice will benefit you as much as it's going to benefit me. Ciao. Okay, let's start with our frame. As always, you can do these steps, you can skip this step, you can use the ruler, whatever you think is better for your journal or for the pages that you're doing. Now we are going to do some wavy lines. I would do probably 2. And then we are going to thicken make some of this line, basically. I don't know if I just invented a word in English, thicken it, but anyway, we are to make them thick and bold, and then back to thin, and then back to thick. There we go. And then we're gonna do the same over here. Maybe here pretty thick, here pretty thick. It's like you retrace the second line and then you go and fulfill the space, the gap between the first line and the second. So we make these 2 waves a little more interesting, and so they will play a more important part into the design. Now, if you're not 100% sure, and if you don't want to risk, you can do this step with a pencil, and then you will go over with the black Sharpie. Okay. Now, I'm gonna do this step with the extra fine Sharpie. You can do it first with a pencil and then go over with the Sharpie, or you can do directly with the Sharpie. Once again, it is up to you. So we're gonna kind of divide this space into multiple sections using straight lines. So first, we're gonna do some of the diagonal lines. Everywhere, like in these 3 sections. Now we are going to divide those spaces into multiple spaces. So we're gonna add a few more lines, like this. So for example, here we can do one here and another one here. Here we can just do one. Here, depending, you know, how big is the space, how many other times you would like to divide it. Be spontaneous, so you don't have to copy exactly my lines. You can do your own things, whatever works for you. And finally here. So we are breaking down this space. And I think that for me, it's enough. If you want to add more, you can add more, or you can leave it as it is. Now I'm going to use all of this green. I have the 121 box of shadow art markers, and I love them. And today I truly want to use green. Green is like, for me, the color of tranquility, serenity, and definitely hope. And I'm gonna start to randomly fill these spaces with green. And of course, because I will use different type of green, so different tones and different tints of green, you're gonna spread out the color. So for example, this green, I will use it here, I might use it here, here, so like, you know, in few spots. Whenever you think that the area is big enough, the cool thing about these markers is that you can switch to a thicker tip. Just be careful when you do the outline of the contour of the shape, and then you will be able to feel it pretty quickly, and you know, no stress at all. And so, as I was saying, I truly needed to use this green because I need to feel hope. I got a kind of, you know, not a good news from my friends and family in Italy, and there is a friend who is just discovered to be really sick, and I'm praying and I'm sending all the love and the positivity and the prayers that I'm able to. I just need green to calm myself down and to feel the hope and the faith that it will go well. So colors are fantastic, and so it is art. I cannot stress enough, sorry, I'm a little like emotional right now, but I cannot stress enough how important and how beneficial art can be, and how color, something so holistic and so natural, can truly help us in difficult moment, in when we are emotionally shaken. And so here I am proposing this practice to you, and I hope that no matter what is your mood, feeling, emotion right now, you can benefit from this practice under many different points of view. Just for fine motor skills in learning how to curve lines and make lines straight. Instead, create a beautiful composition in a space, use the space properly, creating something balanced and harmonic, an idea of movement and dynamism. So whatever is the the way that you approach this practice, I hope that it will benefit you as much as, you know, like it's benefiting me. I truly believe in the power of this holistic practice and holistic approach to make us feel better. I am totally against medicalization, taking on, like, of course, if you have a serious issue and psychological issues, you need to go to the doctor, and in some cases, definitely you will need some medication. But I also know that we are truly, truly, truly capable and so talented and so equipped to help ourselves in many ways that are more natural and more holistic, by praying, by meditating, by eating in a certain way, by avoiding something and introduce something else in our body, by listening more to ourselves, by living a healthy lifestyle, and by using these different type of approaches and therapy or therapeutic activity. Let me rephrase: therapeutic activity such as art. Art cannot substitute the therapy, but can really, really complete it and make it more effective. In fact, there are always more and more psychologists and even psychiatrists and coaches that advise and include art therapeutic practice in their therapy and their approach to their patients. I believe that repeating something like a pattern, it's like a little meditation. It's like when we breathe, right? You breathe in and out, and because you're breathing, you're automatically stopping any thoughts, because you're focusing in your breath and the air that goes in and out. At the same time, when you do art, you keep breathing and you repeat. Once the design is set, there is nothing else that you have to worry about. And so there comes the focus on just, I'm gonna fill this space with the colors that make me feel good, the color that I need right now, the color that I feel truly attracted to. And so you just feel, and you go up and down, and you see the tip of your markers doing the coloring while your hand is moving. That is a little therapy over there. And today I truly need this green therapy. The green brings me space of peace, compassion, tenderness, hope, which what I truly need and want to feel right now. So if you're going through something a little hard, do not discard therapy, do not discard art practices, And of course, if you need counseling and therapy, go for it. Because sometimes we truly need an extra support. But do not discard this practice. You have the resources inside you to understand what is going on, to approach whatever challenge you're facing with positivity, with faith, to embrace the fear that we all feel, because we all feel some fears, right? But to understand that is normal and everybody does, and we need to embrace these feelings, embrace this challenge, and we have the ability and the skills to move on and succeed. So whatever helps you, and in my case, I totally changed my lifestyle, and in some cases also my life beliefs. I've been doing a lot of search. I've been including a pretty rigid schedule, I want to say, and routine. Every morning I start with my workout, and then stretching, and then a little meditation, a lot of prayer, cold shower, and then I'm ready for the day. Now, when I have to go to work in a little while, school will start again, and then I go to school, but I know that I'm very well awake. I feel recharged. I feel like positive, and I feel most of all connected with myself and with God. And you can call God any way that you want. It could be the universal energy, it could be universe, it could be the creator, it could be God, Allah, Yahweh, whatever names you want to give it. It's the same for everybody. We all come from the same place, and we will all go back there. So, but when I'm not in school, when I don't have to go to school because it's the weekend, I'm here like recording this activity that I sharing in my YouTube channel. And let me tell you that every time that I get to do art, immediately, like at the beginning of my day, I always feel better. I feel a very good energy level for the rest of the day. I feel very inspired. And sometimes when I do it later in the afternoon, I feel really, I would say, comforted by the activity itself. I feel that it is truly beneficial. And sorry, maybe today I'm talking a little bit no sense. But I'm being very spontaneous and very truth to myself and to you. And so I think that it's also, this is beautiful, because when we are vulnerable, we don't have to have the perfect speech, the perfect performance. We are just here sharing a vulnerability and sharing the fact that life is not perfect, and we face challenges, we have fears, we receive good news, bad news, but we are equipped to face everything that comes our way and to really learn from every experiences and get stronger and get better and get more connected with ourselves and with God. And so I think at art as a medium, right, to reach that, or to facilitate that connection and to facilitate that process. So during the summer, when I have more time, I make a lot of artworks that I will sell in my fall and winter local markets, right? I take advantage because I know that once the school will start again next week, I will be very, very busy. So when I go back home, I just had the time, to put together dinner, maybe when the weather is good to go for a walk, and that's it, right? I want it dark over here too. And so I've noticed that in the period of time when I get to spend many hours per day by doing what I truly love, making my ornaments, making my greeting cards, making my bookmarks, smaller artworks, etc. Every year I create a new collection. I feel always so chill, calm, well-balanced, very inspired. It's beautiful. And so to people who do not believe that something as simple as a colorful pattern and some specific art practices, for example, the mandala, the zentangle, the pattern art, when you have this repetition of the same element, such as lines and shapes in this case, and then a pattern with colors that you feel that you need in that very moment, because they will enhance and support some feelings versus others. To all the people who do not believe this, I say try. But when I say try, I want to say that like Yoda, right? You do or do not. There is no try. Because if you do it once or twice and say, well, I feel the same, that is not really trying. That is mostly not doing it. Because to have something, become effective in our life, we need to be able to be consistent, right? So you include a new routine in your life. That could be a weekly routine, a bi-weekly routine, a daily routine. You do you, because you know your skills, your need, your schedule, right? Your life. So you go with that, of course, but then you have to do it for months, and then you will see the benefit. It's like for everything else, right? You start to change your diet, you need to truly do it. You do it deeply, and you do it consistently, and you do it for months. And then you see the result, and you can tell these things truly work for me, truly works for me, or these things doesn't work for me, and I need to find something else. But that is doing it, right? That is truly trying. Because many people say, oh, I try. How many times? Oh, 3. It didn't work. Well, we need to really, really put some effort, a true effort. And then marvelous things will happen. I feel already so much better just looking at all of this beautiful green. And take your time to, let's see if this one is exactly the green that I want. Yes, beautiful moss green. Take your time to review the design, stop a second, see what type of green do you need a little more, and so you will use it for more shapes. If you need to go over with another green on top of some of the shapes that you already colored, feel free to do so. Remember that we are all in the process, right? So the process is everything. The time that we spend for the process, the intention that we put in the process. The result is usually extremely beautiful and rewarding, but we don't really care about the process. We just let it go. And sometimes it's so difficult. I wish that it wasn't so difficult. We should do the same in life. We should put effort and focus on the process, the moment, the way that we are facing this process, the thing that we are learning through the process and we are enjoying through the experience, and just let it go, and the result will happen. It's just that we are so scared sometimes and so afraid and so indoctrinated by whatever they told us and whatever the society tells us, that that little like fear and that voice inside us doesn't let us go. But I wish that, through the art process and this type of practices, hopefully we'll become more and more aware that we need to focus on the process, trust the process, give it the best that we can possibly give, no matter what type of process is that, and then let it go and feel no attachment to the result. It's easier to say that to do this, but I feel that the more we talk about it, the more we tell ourselves, the more we physically demonstrate it, right? In the art process, we follow some steps, we stay with the process, and then the result magically happen. So the more we repeat this action, these words, these thoughts, the more we'll be closer and closer to truly, truly understand them and make things happen and live a beautiful lives. It is already beautiful and makes me feel so much better. And now with the extra fine Sharpie, we're gonna start to fulfill the pattern. This will take a while, and this will really test our patience and our endurance. Remember, find yourself in a comfortable position. And what I do is basically I use the same type of straight and diagonal lines to fulfill all the spaces in different directions. At the end, this will give a lot of movement to our piece and a lot of dynamism. Lines do not have to be perfect, so let it go. And as I was saying, this part, because it's a lot of repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating, is going to be, you know, probably the most important step in this process. We test our patience, endurance, perseverance, and at the same time we relax and we breathe in and out, in and out, and the only thing that we think about it are these lines that we are putting on the paper. You do not have to copy the directions of my lines. You can do you. Remember to be spontaneous. You're all in this design. We're all together like in this design. So whatever you decide to do with it is going to be exactly what is supposed to be. So do not overthinking. Just commit and enjoy. And here we are, my friends. It was so much, but I was so immersed into these practices, and I was like so connected with it that I didn't even realize that it was done. It's of course gorgeous and beautiful. I like the movement and the dynamism given by these lines and by all the contrast between the geometric lines and the more organic lines. I truly love the green patterns that we created together, and I definitely feel like recharged, regenerated, and also grateful that I got time to spend thinking about my spirituality. And I hope that this practice is beneficial for you. I see you all very soon with another one, and let me know in the comment how it goes.